Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody! This podcast proudly presents to you the zero-time tag team champions of the world, the Road Dogg, JJ Brownlee, the Badass, JB Faulkner, Total Spotfest Live, with the ninth wonder of the world, Nick.
And thank you for joining us. Welcome, everybody, or welcome back, everybody. I am JJ Brownlee. With me, as always, is my esteemed colleague, Jamie Faulkner.
Hakuna Matata, bitches.
And also, we are graced by the presence of what could be called a great man. I won't call him that. It is the ninth wonder of the world, Nick.
That was one hell of an introduction. I am not worthy.
You are definitely not worthy, but I gave it to you anyway. So.
Big introduction for a very underwhelming man.
I talk a big game, but we don't back it up. So this is Total Spotfest Live. Thank you guys for joining us here. So as we made mention last time, we are splitting these up so not to have as a big of a marathon of a podcast. So we're going to do two smaller podcasts throughout the week. This is our Friday podcast where we focus on the Wednesday Night Wars. So AEW, NXT, we're going to get after it. We have some really cool stuff that happened this past Wednesday. We're going to talk about it. How you guys doing? Everybody doing good tonight?
I'm feeling pretty damn excited after Wednesday night. I'm looking forward to Sunday, and I'm looking forward to next Wednesday for sure.
I'm feeling cantankerous, JJ. I've got axes to grind.
You got axes to grind. Okay. That's better than X's to grind, I guess.
Yes.
That's a really bad serial killer joke. I'm gonna stop now.
Yeah.
So, all right. We got a lot of wrestling coming up here. Like I said, Sunday night we got TakeOver. I'm still not excited about having to leave my house and go to Nick's place, but that's okay. I'm gonna get over it. Yeah. So let's just get into it then. We're gonna start. Jamie's gonna start us off tonight. We're gonna start with NXT because it is a take-home show. So we have take-home shows. We like to kind of get that first because they usually are the cream of the crop, from your weekly fare.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Typically, your go-home show is like sets the stage for, the big pay-per-view. And this one, for the most part, I felt hit some high notes, and, we'll just dive right in because there's a lot of big things that happen on the show. So the very first match, it opens up with arguably, my opinion, might be the best match of the night with MSK versus Legado del Fantasma. It had tons of great spots. This is for the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Cup. So, the winner of this match will go into the finals for Vengeance Day. So it was pretty damn good.
It was a fun match. It was.
There's some good spots in it. My personal favorite spot was towards the end when Legado del Fantasma, they had I don't remember. I don't know their names right now. I think it was Joaquin Wilde.
Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza.
Yeah, I think they had Joaquin Wilde on their backs, and one of the guys jumped from the corner and then did a coup de grace basically on the back, on the back of the guy who's on somebody's shoulders, and then did a 450 splash onto Wesley. From there, it's like bam, bam. That was one of the sickest, most athletic moves I think I have ever seen. It got me jazzed up, and they freaking lost. MSK, aka the Rascals. Yeah, Rascals. They did good. I don't necessarily get them yet, but hey, whatever,
Like I said last time, their shtick is kind of weird by themselves.
Right? They need a mouthpiece.
Yes. Oh God, yes. Their mic skills are. Woo!
Yeah, they're Lance Storm. All work in the ring and no mic skills. But no, overall, I think it was great. They did their little elevated running blockbuster move thingy that they do.
It looks good.
It looks great. So they end up getting the win. So they advanced to the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Classic, the Dusty Cup. Right after that, Scarlett entered William Regal's office and made it clear that they need to have a match between Karrion Kross and Santos Escobar next week. Not on Vengeance Day, but next week. So they made that happen after that.
I do like how you said she made it clear, because as much as I love Scarlett, and I think she's fantastic, I still miss her wrestling. Mm-hmm. She doesn't really speak in sentences when she's in her Scarlett, Angel of Doom, if you will, character. So I found it it was a little bit awkward in a great way.
It was pleasantly uncomfortable.
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
I mean, Nick, do you have a thought? Is this one of your axes to grind?
It wasn't an axe. I was kind of, I wasn't uncomfortable. I wasn't impressed.
Were you wanting to be uncomfortable? Because it feels like this has been a great moment for that.
I got some other axes to grind. This one was just kind of, it was just something that happened at the beginning of the show.
He's going to leave little Scarlett where she is.
Yeah.
So that sounded bad.
It's just something that happened at the beginning of the show.
Okay.
It definitely was a thing. Okay.
So after that, come back from commercial. Now it's time for Xia Li with Bo and Tian Sha. I'm probably murdering that, and I apologize. And they're going against Cora Jade, aka Elena Black, Zelo Pro, Journey Pro KC alum, and
complete squash.
Super squash. I mean,
but even at that, keep going. It's because it gets. I don't know. I have things to say about this.
Yeah, I think yes, we need to talk about this because I love Xia Li. I think I love her. Like, she is built like a brick shit house. She looks like she can whoop anybody's ass. Like, her quads are just a thing to be desired by anybody, and she looks like she should be able to kick her ass, and she did. And it looked, her moves looks decent. And then freaking Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter come out and try to distract her. Then they're yelling at Tian Sha, and then Zia's like, oh, they didn't mean it. No, this will never happen again, blah, blah, blah. And that Bo guy comes over and she starts strangling the Bo guy. I don't get it. And then
the whole thing was just weird because Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter come out because they're friends with her now. When did that happen? Because the only time I've ever seen you guys interact with Xia Li before or after the whole Chinese triad debacle thing was when she was squashing you guys before. So but whatever, they come out because they're concerned, and they're sitting there by ringside, and then they end up pleading with this Chinese ghost woman demon. I don't know. I am still so confused about what the hell that is. That for 2 weeks there was an old cigarette smoking triad dude there, and now there's this chick with the paint and the metal mask, and she I don't know.
It's the Grudge.
Ooh,
it kind of is.
Yeah,
it's Chinese Grudge.
Chinese Grudge. I
will say it's nice that Xia Li, when she does her little embellishment before she comes in the ring, after she takes off her Street Fighter 2 hat, hands it to Bo dressed as Neo from the Matrix. It is nice that this week she had an actual sword and not a dagger, because doing that dance with a dagger was really weird.
Yeah. So positive that came out of it. Lee continues to look incredibly strong and dominant.
Oh yeah,
I like that. Negative, I have no clue what the hell is going on with it. It's the first time you hear. The first time you ever heard the Misfits. I don't know if you guys are big Misfits fans, but the first time you ever heard it, you don't know, because you didn't, maybe you weren't into punk or whatever, but it's I don't know if I like this. This is just making me feel uncomfortable and weird. But then the more you watch, the more you listen to it, the more you fell in love with it. And me, I'm a Misfits guy. But, it's just one of those weird things that the very first time you hear something, you're I don't know if I like this. But the problem is, this is the third time we see it, and I still have that feeling.
So that's a very interesting take on that, Jamie, for a couple of reasons. Number one, whenever I've had that feeling that you're describing, specifically when we're talking wrestling, it has always turned out to where it was something that I absolutely loved. Thinking of like the Firefly Funhouse.
Right.
I mean, there's a whole bunch of things like that where you're like, this is really goofy and I don't understand it. And then next thing you know, you're like, this is the best thing ever. But to the latter part of your point, it should have developed by now. And so I think what's happening, and this is just speculation, there's no proof behind it, I don't think they know what's going on. I think they came up with some creepy, cool looking imagery, and they're like, okay, now we need a story, and nobody has any ideas anymore. It's just, this is something we thought looked cool and creepy and dark, and now we don't know what to do with it.
Well, I think you were right what you said last week, that they abandoned the whole Triad Mafia angle because someone's like, hey, it's not a good idea. Get it, you know? But I'm with you. I just want to know what the hell is going on. I don't understand it. I just don't understand it at all. You know, is this person controlling them? Is she training them? Is she the spirit of them?
Right.
I just want to know what's going on, and the whole Canzero and Carter thing. That's fine. You know, they're getting a push finally rather than just being the squashies. So put him in a feud or a thing with Xia Li for a few weeks. Great, that's fine. Whatever. But who is this thing that's in the middle of? I just don't get it. I'm just gonna stop because I'm gonna keep spinning my wheels.
Yeah. You know what though? You know who I think could really help this? None other than Bruce Pritchard. I think he can come up with a way to make this thing.
This isn't even his
amazing.
goddamn show, and you had to bring him into this.
He'll invade it because you know what? This is what we can do. We can make it where she actually becomes her tag partner, but the thing is, like, she does like a finger poke of doom because that is such an amazing move, and they're unstoppable. And we'll call them the Chinese Mega Powers.
I like where your head's at, Jamie. I think they should do it.
That's not me. It's
I
Bruce
don't
Pritchard.
like where your head's at. Stop.
That's not me. It's Bruce. It's Bruce.
Full stop. Next thing.
All right.
Jesus
so,
Christ.
okay. So, after we get past this train wreck, we get to probably my most favorite segment of the night. So, Johnny Gargano comes out.
I love this
in a
so
wheelchair,
much.
and he can't walk because he has a broken left arm, which I thought was hilarious. So,
Oh, so good.
so he starts just whining about how he can't do anything and he's going to need time to heal. Then here comes Sir William Regal, comes right out and goes, he just basically calls bullshit. And I love the fact that he just straight up just did. Because he's like, well, if you look at this, it says R for right. And he's like, and you broke your left arm. You said you broke your left arm. And then Johnny Gargano, with the quickness, goes, R stands for real. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's absolutely hilarious. So he goes on and on about, oh, I can't do anything. So then William Regal gives him two options. And I love this. One, he can the first one was he can have Austin Theory. I think that's his name. So he can have him fight Kushida for the belt tonight, or he could forfeit his title. Well, he's like, oh, just give me a couple weeks. And then Kushida just sneaks into the back, and he's hanging out with the Way. They're just hanging out, and then he goes, Kushida-san, let me ask you. And they're like, what? And then Theory hits him on the chest, like, oh yeah, hits Kushida on the chest. And the next thing he looks at him with a slow turn, like, oh shit, that's Kushida. And then Kushida just hits him, and then there's a little bit of a skirmish between Gargano and him when he tries to grab the belt, and Gargano totally grabs the belt with his left arm. So luckily, everybody, it's in fact a work like we all hoped.
Such a work.
Yeah, it was pretty solid. So
I love how they were doing at the beginning of it. First of all, Austin Theory has to carry like a baby Johnny Gargano into the ring, lifts him up and sets him down on the top turnbuckle. Then they pass over the wheelchair. Then he picks him up off the turnbuckle and sets him down in the wheel. And every time he's talking, they want to go to show the X-ray, or when he's like, turn me, I can't see. Like, he can't move his neck either. It just yeah, it was masterful. I love the childlike qualities that Theory and Indy Hartwell are doing as well. It was so good. It was Johnny is special. He's gotten so good on his mic skills and his shtick. Like this whole like way thing, I love it even more every week.
If I may piggyback on that, JJ, one thing about Johnny Gargano that I love and always have liked about him, but it just kind of gets better and better, is can you guys remember when Johnny Gargano was a babyface and how good he was at that?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, technically as a wrestler, he was amazing, still is, but he was great as a babyface. And then when it became the Black Hearts, still nailed it. And he's still nailing it now. He is just all the way around as solid as it gets. Big fan.
Yeah, some of his early criticisms were about his related to really his mic skills and the fact that he's not very expressionate. You know, he just doesn't have a lot of depth to his like non-ring work and everything. And I thought some of that had some merit for a little bit. Maybe, you know, everybody's got to go through. You know, he's still getting the hang of the big stage or whatever it was, but I thought it was a little unfair. I think he's definitely proving it now. So,
Yeah.
great. I loved it. It was fan. Yeah, I'm with you. Best spot of the night by far, Jamie.
Yeah, so Kushida versus Gargano is officially on for
Thank God, it's going to be a banger.
Day. So right after that, the women of the Way had their Dusty Rhodes Cup semifinal match against Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon. And this was a pretty damn good match again. Like, again, we love NXT because they actually put on good matches and everything. I think India Hartwell looked pretty good. And of course, LeRae is just, she's solid as can be. And then yet another Journey Pro KC alum and Shotzi Blackheart just did work. She looked great. And of course, Ember Moon's as solid as they get. So, quick, let's just get to the end. Shotzi and Ember Moon get the win. They are moving on to face Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez for the Dusty Rhodes Cup final championship or finals, and whoever wins that will in fact get a shot at the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. So that's a pretty big piece there. You know, I'm trying.
It made me feel a way. I'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah, I think you know, when I'm looking at everything, I think, you know, when you're looking for like the big spots of this match, you know, LeRae hit Shotzi with that wicked stepsister into set up a springboard elbow by Hartwell. I thought that was a great little 1-2 thing, and then Ember Moon was able to break it up. Then LeRae took an eclipse to set up the diving senton. But the great piece about that I liked was Hartwell went over to protect LeRae. I thought that was a really cool little thing. And then when Shotzi hit that senton, like her whole body weight was on Hartwell. That looked like it hurt like a mother.
It did.
Oh, it just, like, I was like, ooh, she got all of that. They went butt to butt. Like, both are, like, it's just, and then, you know, that's what got the win because Hartwell was actually the legal person. So, you know, I like the fact that they're going face versus heel here. I really thought when I saw this that there's no way that LeRae and Hartwell could get the win because they're not going to put two heels going at each other for the championship on the inaugural. There always has to be a face and a heel.
I agree with you there, and as much as I love the NXT Women's Division, like the rest of us here, this match just left me kind of, you know, somewhere in the middle. You know, on paper, it should have been a fantastic match, and it was a good match, I'll say, but there was just some rustiness that I could not get past. Not Shotzi. Shotzi looked fire. And Indy Hartwell still, you know, greener than the other three, I'll say. But Candice, amazingly enough, had several botches in this match that were just weird. She tried to do a tope suicida that did not work, and thankfully they cut away fast because she basically stopped before she jumped and then just jumped straight out. and feet got caught on the rope, and then she basically just face planted a foot in front of Shotzi, and Shotzi more or less just fell down to go with it. It was and there's some other botches too, and and Ember looked rusty in my opinion, which shouldn't be the case. She's been back for long enough now, but I don't know. It was kind of choppy is what my take on it was. I agree with putting forward Ember and Shotzi. I think that it sets up for what should be a fantastic final on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So, and of course, throwing out there the women's tag team championship just made me mad because the first thing I thought of is like, oh, this is how they're going to fuck over Ruby again. Okay. Hey, Ruby.
Oh, yeah, I get Bruce Pritchard in there, and you have to get Ruby in there. It's fair. It's fair.
Yeah, that's fine. That's my thought. I thought it was a good match, but I don't know. I couldn't get past the choppiness of it and some of the botches. It just,
yeah, fair.
Could have been better.
Ninth Wonder. Yeah,
He's got nothing to say.
Sorry, I was yeah, it was good. I agree with JJ. That was one of the things that I found disappointing this week, and it wasn't heartbreaking disappointing. It was just kind of like, come on. Ember Moon, she has been one of my favorites from the beginning, and she still is one of my favorites. Don't misunderstand me, but I think she should be further along in her performance currently than she is. That's just me. I'm not trying to be a stickler. I love her to death, but she's better than what she's putting out there right now, in my opinion.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, and I don't want to full on defend her, but I do, because I do love me some Ember Moon. But coming back from a Achilles tear is incredibly difficult, and she had multiple setbacks with it. So she just might, like, it's one of those things, like you see it in professional football too. Like, some people, when they come back scared a little bit, like they're not fully ready to let it go.
I like to refer to Days of Thunder for that sort of thing.
Oh, there you go.
Like when Cole Trickle, he just can't go through that wreckage. He's terrified of it. That's the better comparison.
I appreciate that.
Next year, you could have the Patrick Mahomes comparison when he comes back and just underperforms for you guys. Was it too soon? I'm sorry.
He's not Big Ben.
Right, he only has one Super Bowl, not two. He's only been,
Yeah, his defense didn't get him either one of those either.
Yeah, that defense helps. So it's being a top 10 all-time passing, which he will be eventually, I know. But still, if you don't know from the tweet Jamie put on Super Bowl, I of course am the Steeler fan, and these two jagoffs are the Chief fans. So
we're just feeling good that
Hey, it's okay. We really don't hate each other. Neither of us are Raiders or Browns fans, so we don't really hate each other that much.
Jamie and I have suffered through Elvis Gerbach and Brody Croyle and Bono, and who else have we had, Jamie? Whatever other bums have we had? We've suffered through all of it, and this is our time, JJ. And I'll be damned if you're going to spoil it for us.
I will give you that. As a Mizzou fan, I understand that more than others. So.
Okay, so as we quickly pivot away from those sports,
digress
hard. Here was I kind of felt like it was a little bit of a filler, because it felt like it had to be in here because it's a go-home show. Was Austin Theory versus Kushida? They went after each other pretty much instantly. It was this back and forth, but then Kushida just kind of really started taking over. He was just beating the hell out of the left arm of Austin Theory pretty good. And then Kushida powered through a power bomb on the apron.
That's the hardest part of the ring, by the way.
Really? We should talk about that more often. He put Austin Theory in one of Chris Jericho's 1004 holds, the arm bar. So that happened. Gargano kicked Kushida, causing a disqualification. Didn't see that coming. And then the two viciously attacked Kushida. Then next thing you know, Dexter Lumis comes out, which at first I hated this guy, and now I kind of like him. I like this like quiet, crazy looking, like psychotic guy who just does bad things. He saved Kushida and scared off Gargano. Gargano's face when he saw Lumis was absolutely priceless. And then Kushida locked Theory and Gargano in hoverboard locks, which that is the greatest name for a move of all time.
His Back to the Future stick is great. Like
Yeah.
I loved it, then I hated that he was still doing it after like 2 weeks, and now I love it again.
Yeah. And then Loomis put Theory to sleep. That was that match.
I thought this was a filler, but I loved this filler because Austin Theory, like I talked about last week, I think he's got a bright future because he just looks he's perfectly placed back in NXT with Gargano. He can do the comedy shtick as being like the Gargano's son, the idiot, son or whatever of their family. The ending there where basically is like Theory falls down outside the ring and gets dragged under by Loomis, and Johnny has no idea what happened, so he's like reaching under the ring, and he grabs 2 arms and pulls out somebody, and lo and behold, it's Loomis, and then that scares him off, and then Theory comes out from under the ring, and he goes to grab onto Loomis, who he thinks is Gargano, and then Loomis turns around and he freaks out, and it ends with them both getting submitted. Theory by Loomis and Gargano by Kushida, with Gargano and Theory like reaching out and holding hands while they're getting submitted by the other people. I thought this was fantastic. It just continued on with the Gargano angle. I loved it. I thought it was more than filler. Personally, I loved it.
That's why we have these difference of opinions.
To each his own.
Exactly. Yeah. Nick,
I like the wrestling. Kushida's good on a technical side, so I enjoy watching him. And I thought Theory did a great job keeping up with him. The ending was okay. It was comical. I'm good with it. I'll allow it.
I'll allow it. Yeah. Okay. So that was great. Now we get to something I thought was a complete like the hell is this? And Cameron Grimes.
Woo!
Yeah, I never was a big fan of him. Period.
Really?
No, I just don't like his shtick at all. And maybe it's because I don't pay enough attention to it, because I think, honestly, like, I'm more AEW than NXT, I just self-admittedly. I pay more attention to AEW and, like, kind of, like, not necessarily follow NXT as hard. But, he just annoys me, honestly. And then this whole thing when he drives up in a Lamborghini, giving away a whole bunch of money because he struck it big with investing in GameStop and Dogecoin. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Really, I loved this beyond belief. I thought it was fantastic.
Ugh.
I'm in between. Like, it's one of those things where I see him and I'm like, I should like this guy. Like, he has all the makings of someone I would like.
He's got the mat skills,
but
for sure.
He doesn't. I'm with Jamie though. He doesn't deliver for me. Like he on paper, it all adds up, but in reality, it just doesn't come through for me.
I think that's why I like him, because he's such a polarizing figure. Like live shows hate him. He gets booed his ass off, and I think that's fantastic because he's got mat skills that make you stand up no matter what you think and be like, oh, damn, he can go.
Yeah.
So I think it's great that there's this guy that's just hateable. He's just a terrible character, but he's so good at being terrible. And he pulled up in this Lamborghini, and it proved it was him. I was like, oh, God, please tell me he did, like, this is going to be a shtick on GameStop and dog coin, as he referred it to, not Doge, but dog coin. And it was, and that was just, I thought it was great and timely. I understand what you guys are saying. He's very polarizing, but that I think is why I like him so much.
I don't hate him.
You're not going to kiss his grits, in other words.
No,
That's his new
I do like
phrase,
he does have wrestling skills. I am all he's
so
great
good.
like that. So I haven't given up on him, but
well, let's see what they do with this here. They took him off for a little bit, got a little bit of a break, and so how are they going to kind of position him, because he positioned him well at first, and he wasn't getting the pop they wanted when there was live crowds, so he became more of a comedy act. So let's see how they kind of go with this now.
Yeah, I think the big thing that really pissed me off about this is I bought AMC stock, so I was a part of the whole stonk, Wall Street bets thing, and I'm still holding. like everybody else should be doing, holding. If you're on Wall Street Bets, you hold. And he sold. He sold out. He's not true. He's not with us. That pisses me off.
He's a sellout.
Yeah.
You're there to make money. That's what you do with stocks, make money.
Well, yeah, but you hold to screw the hedge funds, man.
That's right.
Sure.
Don't you read Reddit?
I'm sorry. If I had like remember like a couple years ago when Bitcoin blew out of nowhere to like just like stupid fucking levels, and it was like, oh, you should keep holding. I was like, bullshit. If I had any Bitcoin, I would have sell. Give me my $6 million or whatever it was. Get the fuck out. That's me. I'm also not a financial advisor, so please don't listen to a damn thing I say.
Yeah. Don't listen to me either. But all right, so let's get to the final match of the night for NXT. It is the second semifinal match of the men's Dusty Classic of Thatcher and Tommaso, aka the NXT Mega Powers,
God
versus
damn it, Bruce.
versus the Grizzled Young Veterans. So the Grizzled Young Veterans, I like them because I hate them. Does that make you know what I'm saying?
Everything you said about Cameron Grimes, I'm going to flip back and turn it around and point to the Grizzled Young Veterans for me and say that. Nah, whatever. I could do without them.
You know, I mean, they had their shtick on NXT UK, and then they came over here doing the same thing. And, you know, I mean, Zach Gibson, I like Gibson other than the fact it looks like he's wearing a diaper. Like, I don't get what's up with his shorts, but they're like super baggy. Like, it looks like he's got a, you know,
Maybe it's incontinence, man. You don't know this.
yeah, it looks like he made a boo-boo.
Did you make a nick in your pants?
He did not. He just has diaper butt. That's all.
Diaper butt.
Yeah, Zach Diaper Gibson. Yeah, there we go. We got his name now. This was a really good technical match. It didn't go near as long as I was expecting. Mainly probably
10 minutes.
Yeah, but I felt like it was going to be longer. Just because it seems like every single one of Tommaso Ciampa's matches are 15 minutes plus. It seems like he doesn't do short matches anymore. But it was really good. Let's just get to the result, and let me go through some of it. The result was, in surprising fashion, the Grizzled Young Veterans actually did beat the NXT Mega Powers of Ciampa and Thatcher. So, totally, you know, I think Bruce Pritchard's crying himself to sleep since then, because, you know, that was his team that he created, actually. So, yeah, looks like the Brits are going against MSK in the finals at Vengeance Day,
which is very interesting. I'm not huge on the Grizzled Young Veterans, although I will give them their due as mat performers.
Yeah,
like it's much like Cameron Grimes. I just don't like their shtick. I don't like their whole like stutter. I don't get the whole grizzled. Yeah, I don't get that. Maybe that's a British thing.
Tony the
I just
Tiger.
don't understand.
It's Frosted Flakes.
I don't get. Sure. I don't know. Every time he says it, it's like nails on a chalkboard to me for whatever reason. I can't explain it. I like them in the ring, though. They're good in the ring. So this will be very interesting. This is not what you would think of when you look at Undisputed Era, Tommaso Ciampa. You know, who's going to be in the final? The people, the Rascals from Impact, and these Brits from WWE or NXT UK.
I don't like.
That's cool.
I don't like the Grizzled Young Veterans, but I do like this scenario for the simple reason I was not expecting it. And I don't like the redundance of a lot of these matches. So as much as I love Ciampa, and as much as I dislike these guys, I welcome it for the simple sake of variety, and I want to see what they can do.
Yeah, because honestly, a year ago, you know, we already knew Undisputed Era was going to be in the finals. Like, we just knew, you know, and then for them to lose in, honestly, a great freaking match against, the angry faces, as some people are calling them on internet, but I like to call them as the NXT Mega Powers. I thought that was great. I thought that was a swerve that no one saw coming. And, I really appreciate that they're going outside the box. Because if anything that we all know, on Mondays and Fridays, they live inside this one-dimensional box.
The box is getting smaller by every week,
oh,
too.
Jesus.
We're not getting on it. No, this is good wrestling night.
Yeah.
Good wrestling.
So, but that's why I'm bringing it up, because it's so different from the rest of the brand. I'm looking forward to the finals. I'm just going to call it out.
It's going to be interesting.
MSK, the few matches I have watched of them, they're impressive. They do need a mic guy. They do need a manager type person, or something like that, leader. These grizzled young veterans, they need better ring attire, or change Zach Gibson's diaper, whatever it may be. But they're pretty cool. They did do a Doomsday device, which... I'm a LOD guy from back in the day, so you're always going to get me to perk up when I see a Doomsday device. So the original 3D. That's my thoughts on that.
Hit us up on Twitter. Let us know what you think. Who's going to win the men's day Dusty Cup Classic? Is it going to be hashtag diaper butt or hashtag no mic skills? What you got?
Yes. And if you don't know, which you should already, our Twitter handle is at Total Spotfest. At Total Spotfest is on Twitter. You can message us. We will respond. We have no problem in getting back to you. We love hearing your thoughts. And you know what? We'll give you a shout out. I don't even care. If somebody gives us a good thing, we'll talk about it. So, before I close on this, Nick, is there anything else? Because I wanted to go over the card for Vengeance Day.
I'm ready to go. Let's keep rolling.
All right. So here is the official card for Vengeance Day, and we'll be going over this on our Wednesday podcast. So be on the lookout for that. So the women's Dusty final of Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai versus Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon. The men's, as we just talked about, will be MSK and the Grizzled Young Veterans. Then we have a triple threat for the NXT Women's title and Toni Storm, Mercedes Martinez, and Io Shirai. The North American title, which I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to change hands to between Kushida and Johnny Gargano. And another one I feel like might have something happen to it as well, between Pete Dunne and Finn Balor. It's a solid-ass card.
So it's a pretty stat card, and there's some definite potential bangers out there.
So, I would like to do this, guys. What match do you think is going to steal the show?
Oh, I'm all on board for Gargano Kushida. That's going to be just fire through the roof. I'm 100% convinced. There's some other ones I think are going to be fantastic too, and I might be surprised, but my money is on Kushida Gargano.
I'm with you there, JJ. I was trying to find something different to talk about, but it's just kind of a.
You can agree. It's fine.
No. It's a no-brainer. Those guys are so good.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the women's matches because I love Toni Storm. I love Io Shirai. But
and Mercedes, that match could be something special too.
I have high expectations for that, but I'm with you, JJ.
So I agree. I think Kushida and Gargano has it just looks like it's going to steal the show. But my money is actually going to be on that triple threat of Toni Storm, Mercedes Martinez, and Io Shirai.
Okay.
I think it has got sleeper qualities all over it. I know we're going to see some great spots from Io. Mercedes is going to probably put somebody through a table or something. There's lots of good things that could easily happen.
It's got the makings. Remember a few takeovers ago when for the North American title, it was Damian Priest versus Gargano versus who was Thick Boy? What's his face?
Dream?
Bronson Reed. Yeah.
Oh, Bronson Reed. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if but that was to me. It was like that match ended up being just like, oh my god, Spotfest. So I think that this, because of the difference in the women, Martinez is bigger and kind of more of a striker, and Toni Storm definitely has that British strong style feel to her, and of course the high flying technical aspect of Io. I think the congregation of styles lends itself to make it something special. But I can't not. I mean, it's on paper. It should be, and I agree. I think that Gargano Kushida should be something special.
Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, we will be live tweeting during this, so we will be talking about each of the matches as they go on. So if you have any input, you want to tell Nick he's a complete dumbass, which we do every day, but you can as well. You can join.
There's nothing wrong with a little constructive criticism.
So, all right, that is NXT. Now it is time to go over AEW's Dynamite, and JJ, would you please
let me
go
take
over
that. Yeah. So Dynamite this past week. Now we were talking earlier before we were on, and Dynamite has the enviable problem of that every show can't be as ridiculous as the show before. You know, if you set the bar at a 10, you're not going to hit it every time. So while some out there might think that this wasn't the greatest Dynamite, I thought it was fantastic. I know Jamie did as well, Nick did as also, but it was the show after their beach break, which is kind of like a TV pay-per-view, if you will. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I don't want to call it a post pay-per-view show, but it kind of had the feeling of that, you know? So starts off right away. And this is something I do love about AEW is they don't pussyfoot around, you know. Start off right away, Darby Allin, Joey Janela. And it was a surprise of a match. We were talking trash on Joey last week, and we still will because he is a trash person. But
Shota boy.
The match was good, and it's probably the best I say that Joey Janela has looked in the ring in AEW since that no disqualification match he had against Moxley, where he got his feet driven into tacks. It was mostly a technical match too, which surprised the crap out of me with these two. So pretty good match. Darby, of course, retained at the end of it. Not a big surprise there. They're not going to give Joey Janela a belt. Let's be real. But it was a pretty good match overall, I thought. After that, we got into promos. And the first hour of the show, actually throughout the whole show, there was a lot more. If there felt like there was a lot more promos than usual, you'd be right. I know AEW, when they first came on, they were so intent on being the wrestling fans show that they had no promos hardly at all. And they got some grief for that. Yeah, it's good, but as a TV show, you got to have some back and forth. I felt like this might have been a little heavy on the promos, but they all served a good purpose, so I wasn't angry or mad about that. So the first one was Moxley doing a quick promo talking about Kenta and their IWGP match they have on the 26th of this month for a New Japan show. Then next, Sammy Guevara is confronted by MJF. They're in the inner circle locker room. And Sammy goes to confront MJF and tells everybody to leave except for the cameraman because he wants to tape this. And tells MJF that he knows what he's doing. He gets his shtick. He's trying to take over the inner circle, which, as we all know, is blatantly obvious to anybody who's not Chris Jericho. I mean, it's so blatantly obvious. But he calls him on it, and of course, MJF, being the great mic'sman he is, he works it, tries to turn it into a shoot of some sort, and then he's trying to record Sammy on his phone. Sammy destroys his phone, then punches him in the dick, and that was fun because it was not meant to be, but he definitely punched him in the dick.
Yeah, I loved this segment because it planted a lot of good seeds. I think this has been coming to a head for a while, and throwing the phone and then just straight punching him in the dick was just a beautiful move. Just because, like, we're big MJF fans in our house, and like he was in full MJF mode, super asshole, and just he might be the best manipulator talker like I've heard since young Jericho. Like no bullshit. Like the way he can spin things and say things, and it's so arrogant, and it's believable, which is the best part about him. Like, yeah, I enjoyed this little segment a ton.
The one thing I'll say is, though, it does kind of pigeonhole him a little bit. He's the slimy heel. He really can't go anywhere else. I mean, it's going to take major change for him to be believable as anything other than just like the worst person in the room.
I'm glad you said that, JJ, because they are definitely at a crossroads, and by they, I mean MJF and Chris Jericho. They are both fantastic heels, but they're already at that point, and I predict that within the next month or two, I bet sooner rather than later, one of them's going to do a face turn.
Well, it's good. It'll be Jericho, of course.
It will be Jericho. I honestly think the only way that MJF would ever turn if they found some way to get his mother to show up on the show and tell him he's being a complete dick and he's changed his ways.
That would be awesome.
But even at that, I still wouldn't believe it. He's done. It's not a bad thing, but he's dug such a hole as being the heel. I don't think he can. It's gonna take, like I said, monumental.
Stay with me.
To get him
Stay
out
with
of
me,
that,
JJ.
so.
Stay with me.
All right.
Let's say that MJF does a face turn because he comes to sees the error of his ways, and he overcompensates by being super sweet to everybody, but everybody tells him to go fuck himself.
Okay.
And so he has to
like.
suffer through it. Let's just call it for 4 or 5 weeks, and then he just says to hell with it, and then we get the old MJF back, and we're just excited for it, and he's worse than ever.
Like a guy that gets hit on the head, get kicked in the head by a mule and doesn't know where he's at,
Yes.
and goes a complete 180,
Yes.
and then comes to his senses and says, "F you guys, back to the
absolutely."
Okay. I would take that, but this is actually setting up for something later on in the night. So right after that, we get another match. We get Cesar Bononi, who I can't remember. I didn't bother looking this up, but I can't remember what his name was. He was recently let go as part of WWE's cuts from. He was in NXT. He was teamed with Pretty Peter Avalon, who I'm going to talk about in a second here, because, yes, versus Cody Rhodes with Lee Johnson, who is part of the Nightmare Family. Nightmare Family is like a pack of bunnies in the woods. They are just multiplying exponentially. If you follow any of them on Twitter, you would have seen this week there was like 6 people who are now part of the Nightmare Family. It's like, Jesus Christ, who's not in the Nightmare Family? But I digress. The match itself, real short, sweet to the point. There was a little nod at the very beginning. Arn Anderson's son was in the front row. Looks like a young Ole Anderson. It's crazy weird. It was like a weird hybrid of Ole and Arn together. So definitely not Milkman's son. You can't claim that. And they made note that he's just graduated college and he's training to be a wrestler. So probably in a year or so we'll see him on Dark. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Which is I'm fine with. I'm cool. He looked good. The match itself was short, to the point. Very much a squash match, but at the end of it, Lee Johnson ended up getting the actual pinfall on this. It was Lee Johnson's first victory in AEW. He was brought in. He was in the middle of training. He just started his training, and then COVID happened. He was one of the guys who was close back when they had the warehouse. So it's like, hey, kid, you get to wrestle on TV now. And he was a guy that just got the crap beat out of him for weeks upon weeks upon weeks upon weeks. So it was nice to see him actually kind of pay off. He looked pretty good. He's still getting there, but he looked all right.
Yeah.
Peter Avalon. Go ahead.
Well, hold on. But before you go, I do want to give everybody an update on this, because the dirt sheets and even AEW is reporting that Cody Rhodes has a shoulder injury, legit shoulder injury. There's one saying that he has a torn rotator cuff, and it was from when he did that fall away slam. He was in the fall away slam, and he landed really hard on his shoulder, and everybody said, "Oh, he landed hard on his shoulder." Yeah, he got legit hurt, from what I understand. So,
okay.
That makes sense, because this was one of the things that I found irritating. He has been boring the shit out of me lately. Like, when I see him come up, I'm like, ugh. So if he's hurt, that makes sense.
Well,
he needs a refresh. I mean, he really does.
He's wrestling 80 style wrestling. Like, that's what he's doing. And he's doing it on purpose. And he said that. Like, right now he's studying an old feud between Larry Zbyszko and Bruno Sammartino. And, like, that might be becoming a thing nowadays. It's like that style of thing. So he is a student of the old school, and he loves old school wrestling, as we all know. And that's his style now. Like, he is completely...
I don't have any complaints about his style, though. Like, I agree with Nick, though, because it's not his style
It's
that's
just not
driving
entertaining.
He's just not because who's he feuding with? Every week it's somebody completely different and off the wall. Is his direction is just I'm here to wrestle every single week.
Uninteresting.
I'm in no storyline, no arc. There's the Shaq thing, which now sounds like it might not happen because of his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even the Shaq thing, I'm like, really? Do I really want to see Shaq out there? Jade Cargill Brandy's pregnant, so she got bumped out of it. Now Cody's gonna get bumped out of it. It's like, well, who cares at this point? You know,
Fair.
Get an actual feud. His feud with Jericho was great. His feud with MJF was fan-fucking-tastic. His feud with Brody Lee in the Dark Order was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
He's just kind of like, I'm just going to fight whoever every week and do this. And I get that he's trying to be 80 style. That's cool. I do it. But do it in like an actual like story arc of some sort.
Yeah, get a real feud. I agree. I apologize. I went on a different tangent, but yeah, you guys are absolutely correct.
Or just do it on Dark every week, Cody. I know you're not too big to be that guy on Dark. Just do it.
Yeah.
So Pretty Pure Avalon, though, to me, he is the perfect wimp heel. Everybody knows that. I love him. His shtick he's so bad in the ring as part of his shtick, and he's decent. I mean, I've seen him wrestle some matches where if he's paired up with the right guy, he looks good. He can be good. He's got decent skill, but his shtick is just so awkward, and I think that, kind of like him with Cesar Bononi go well. That's a nice little angle they can play off of, because Cesar Bononi looked fantastic. Mm-hmm. I don't remember what was his name in NXT. Do you remember, Jamie?
Not at all.
He was barely used, so that's not surprising. But anyway, so that was that. After that, we had a Young Bucks promo. Back to promo world. A Young Bucks promo where the Good Brothers came out. It was the exact same promo they did in a different variation that opened being the Elite this past week. So that was a thing. But it was them doing the, hey, you guys screwed us. We were going to do this, and we won. We do against you guys at Revolution, title versus title. And the Bucks and the Good Brothers were like, well, we were just trying to mess with Private Party, and we're sorry. And Smith's and Wiz and Too Sweet and whatever. It was the exact same thing that they did on Being the Elite, so I was like, okay, whatever, guys. I feel like they need to shit or get off the pot with this whole Young Bucks turning on the rest of the Bullet Club.
Yeah, it's getting annoying.
Yeah, it's like everybody else is on a direct path. Kenny Omega, the Good Brothers, Young Bucks. Either you're with them or you're not. Just stop playing this toe the line crap.
They don't know what to do. They're lost. They started started something and they don't know how to finish it.
Right. Or they're waiting to get more eggs to drop on that. They're waiting to find out if Tama Tonga and the Girls of Destiny and Jay White are going to actually do some crossover. I think they're waiting to see what happens with that before they make a decision. I don't know, but it just feels like they need to make a decision.
They're buying time for sure.
Yeah,
that makes a lot more sense. I feel like at Revolution, I feel like it's gonna come to a head.
I think it will, because you got to figure that they have their New Japan big events on the 26th. So you have that. You have Revolutions on the 10th, I believe, of March. 7th. Okay. It's after New Japan, so New Japan they can wrap up that kind of deal and worry about those storylines, and then they got a chance to do the whole thing with Revolution. I would not be surprised if, now that the Forbidden Door is open, and that just sounds so dirty. I love it. Did your phone ring?
Sorry about that. It won't.
Damn it, Nick!
It won't happen again.
Jesus Christ, Nick!
This fucking guy.
Can't take him anywhere.
No, we can't. Anywho, all right. So we'll see what happens with that Revolution. After the Young Bucks promo was another one of my favorite moments of the night here. So Adam Page is being interviewed, is interrupted by Money Matt Hardy, Big Money Matt Hardy, whatever fucking the Hardy this is, and. Of course, Hardy is like trying to like talk sweet to him, and then he tells him that he rented out an entire bar for them to hang out. He just wanted to kind of, and because he has an entire bar, it's open bar time. Paige is like, well, shit, give me 6 Schlitz, let's go.
Yeah,
so
open bar, dude.
Open bar, dude. So yes, they go to the bar and chat, and as he's leaving, he awkwardly runs into the entire Dark Order. Now, this is Dark Order's only pop of the entire night on Dynamite, but I'm fine with it. It's okay. Slow play it. They get a lot of attention on Dark and being the Elite. And, you know, I think that it's better to set up a story than just to throw them out there willy-nilly. So they awkwardly went into them, and he has got to kind of go through the Dark Order very apologetically. So they're keeping this in play. I think it's great. We're going to come back to Adam Page in a second, because next match was the definition of a squash match. It was Pac versus Ryan Nemeth, who, if you look familiar and you're not sure why, he is absolutely Dolph Ziggler's little brother.
Mm-hmm.
And no hiding it. So complete Pac. Oh, I found out why Penta's not there too. Did you look this up?
No.
So I said last week when you were asking, I don't know if we talked about it on the air or if we were talking about it outside of the podcast, but we were talking about why Penta's not there. And I thought it was because of an injury, because he was injured late last year, but I found out that he actually got medically cleared sometime in like November, December, early December, something like that. Okay. You know. That he had a visa issue. It's almost worked out, but that's why he was kayfabe injured with the boot, the Kenny Omega. He had to go to Mexico and sort out a visa issue.
Ah, that makes so much sense now.
Yes. So that's why he hasn't been there. That's why it was Moxley with the rest of the Death Triangle in that 6-man tag last week. That's what's going on. So as soon as he gets the visa issue ironed out, comes back, does whatever, he'll be back on. So
that's good. I love me some Penta.
Yep. Missed me some Penta too. So the match was a total squash, but whatever. It gave us a great Ryan Nemeth meme. If you're not familiar with it, just go to Twitter. You will find it. It's great.
It's not as good as my hole, but it comes in close.
It is definitely not my hole, but his face was completely unintentional. His reactions to it are great. He is doing a good job playing it off. He had a win against Marco Stunt on AEW Dark this week. He looks good. Yeah. He looks like the younger brother of Dolph Ziggler. I mean, he's got
He spent time at NXT before he got fired because somebody didn't like him. He did an interview not that long ago, and like he was doing great, and then one of the trainers just didn't like him. Because they changed trainers, and next thing you know, he's out.
Yep. I mean, that's the weird thing about being that when you're that low on the totem pole in NXT. That's kind of unfortunate, but that's how it goes,
Mm-hmm.
So, followed that up with a Reading recap, which is nice to have, I guess, But they filled that up, and then we go backstage. Getting ready for the Inner Circle versus the Acclaim match. And Jericho's sitting there outside of the ramp entrance with the rest of the Inner Circle, sans MJF and Sammy Guevara. And they're all, where the hell is MJF? It's like we're getting ready to go out like in seconds. Where is MJF? Well, here comes MJF walking up from stage left with his whole midsection taped. Because remember back a little bit ago where Sammy punched him in the dick? Well, he's claiming that Sammy broke his ribs now from whatever. And, he's throwing Sammy under the bus and all this thing. Their music starts playing, and Jericho looks confused as shit. He's playing it fantastic. Looks confused as hell. It's like, we'll figure this out later. We have to go. No, we're going. So they walk out begrudgingly for MJF, who's... he comes out and he's selling it the whole time. He's trying to make everybody in the stadium knows that there's not a chance in hell he's hurt. It's very much like Gargano, It was great. It was very good. Acclaim then comes out, doesn't interrupt the Judas, which I don't like the MJF Judas hybrid. It's like,
I hate it.
Judas.
Yeah.
Nick, what do you hate it too, or is it?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I love MJF and I love Jericho individually. I'm not against what they've done, but I don't need them together. I like them separated. I like them in different places.
I agree there, but we're talking about the song.
I spit on you.
Though.
They should be together forever.
The song is hot garbage.
Okay. Yeah, we're all in agreement that it needs to be just Judas by itself, okay?
Yes.
But I agree with you, Nick. I know Jamie's big on MJF, I know, and he likes this Perry because he's, huge. I'm the same way as you. I like them separate, not together. But neither here nor there. The Acclaim then follows up, comes out, and I talked a little bit about them previously when we were talking about the Battle Royal last time. And I truly believe the Acclaim is one of those future great tag teams. When I look at the young tag teams that they have there, and I made the bold claim last week, if you haven't heard it, go check out some of our other podcasts. You can skip ahead to those sections. You listen to me rave on about these guys because I think that there's actually more, but there's 3 specific tag teams that I think can be the cornerstone of the next 20 years of tag team wrestling if they all stay together in the same promotion. Mm-hmm. Very much similar to the Hardy Boys, Christian and Edge, and the Dudleys. And when I think about that, I see these guys, and they just scream New Age Dudley Boys to me. You've got the quiet bruiser guy in Bowens, and then you got the guy who's got very good skill but is a wizard on the mic in Max Caster.
Dude, I am very impressed with these guys. Their in-ring work is, they're still considerably green, but it is good. Like, it is
very
just
good.
Damn. And this match, I enjoyed the shit out of them in this match. I mean, to your guys' point that the Jerichoholics is what I'm calling them, separate is better, but you know what? No. I think they did fine because of MJF selling. But no, I really like this Acclaim team, and I'm right there with you. I think 10 years from now, they are going to be the young Bucks in 10 years.
Right. But I think, in my opinion, they don't need to change their shtick at all. They have it perfect right now. Just work on, keep getting better, keep getting, especially for Balance a little bit too. He needs a little more definition, I think, So keep hitting the gym, keep hitting the ropes, keep getting better, adding some stuff to your skill set. I see these guys as they could be it. And I truly believe, like I said, every time they come out, they just scream to me New Age Dudley Boys. And that's a compliment beyond compliment for those of you who are not familiar with them. Hi, welcome to wrestling, because you definitely need to be. It was a good match. It was very well done back and forth. MJF kept selling the hell out of the whole hurt angle. Aubrey Edwards was the referee, who by far favorite referee in the game, and she could sell. She does a great job selling. And there's a moment where MJF was in an abdominal stretch with Max Caster, even though he had broken ribs apparently, and he kept reaching back whenever she wasn't looking and grabbing Jericho's arm, and then they'd tuck it away as soon as she turned to look at it, and do 3 or 4 times, and then they do it again, and she goes to the other side, and they just keep going and holding on to it, so she high kicks their legs out of the way. And so love Aubrey Edwards. She's good at these types of matches too, with the big personalities. She fits really well with them.
Yeah.
Shivani's heat towards MJF was fantastic too.
Yeah, I love it.
He loathes him, or at least kayfabe loathes him. Either way, it's great.
It's great.
Air Circle gets the win, of course, and then after the win's over, here's where we circle back, because here comes Sammy Guevara. So Sammy Guevara comes out, and real quickly, I appreciate this, real quick, to the point, tells Jericho, I told you, if he ever did one more thing, I'm out. Well, I'm out. I don't get it, Sammy. What are you saying? He said, I quit the Inner Circle. He just storms off. Oh, that was just a mic drop and run. That was surprisingly.
Yeah.
Wow.
So two things for this that got me. One, Sammy came out to his old music. Music.
Right.
And then 2, fucking MJF's face when he said he quit was the highlight for me, because he just looked right at the camera, had the shit-eating grin on his face, yep, I got what I wanted. It was oh my God. This is the best thing ever, because those two are going to feud. and that feud is going to be a future feud too. Like that's the way I feel about this.
We've talked about that before we started doing this podcast. That MJF, Sammy Guevara, and Jungle Boy are going to be like the next 15 years, 20 years, of AEW. If
they're always going to have heat towards each other. Like those three,
it's going to be great.
Those three are going to be the New Age, Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H-esque. Obviously not to that level. I don't think anybody can ever get that lightning in the bottle ever again. But those are going to be the guys who
they have
carry
the
it.
Potential, especially. Because you remember like one of his first real big singles matches, Jungle Boy, was against MJF, and it was stellar.
It was a banger.
And we know that Jurassic Express is not the end all be all for him. He's a little bit further behind developmentally than Guevara and MJF are. So it's going to be fantastic for the next several years. So after that's all said and done, we cut to Hangman Page and Hardy in the bar. This is great. This is by Nick's already shaking his head at me. Okay, I love this, and I'll tell you why. Then Nick can bitch and whine all he wants. So they're in the bar, and they're just doing shot after shot, and Hardy keeps doing the whole I'm taking a shot, but he turns and dumps it over the side of the bar, so he's not actually drinking it, and Hangman's just getting shit faced, right? And Hardy's like, okay, I understand you don't want to be a tag, but singles, you should be a world champion. So he gives him the same shtick pitch he gave Private Party, basically, and says that he can just for a minute 30%, he can be the manager and get him all that he wants and make him a billionaire and bullshit, all this stuff. So Hangman's like, that sounds great. Well, does it? Great. I have a contract here. So he pulls out the contract, puts it down. Hangman's like, gives the Hangman a pen, and then Hardy turns and says, see, Mr. Cameraman, this is why I wanted to have you here to document this, because when he gets sobers up, he's not going to remember all this. And while he's telling this to the cameraman, here's Hangman taking that contract, throwing it off to his left, and pulling out a different contract out of his coat pocket and signing that, handing that over to Hardy, and then just smiling with a shit-eating grin after Hardy leaves. I thought it was great. I really want to see where this goes. So what did you hate so much about this, Nick? You just kept shaking your head at me.
What didn't I hate about this, JJ? I hate Big Money Matt Hardy. I can't stand it. Now, what I said earlier about variety, that is typically good by me. This is one of those exceptions where I'm just like, no, you should have just continued to do what you were doing before. This is awful. This is just trash. And it's not going anywhere. It's going to be like this for a while. I don't like it. Adam Page, he's boring to me. I don't know. There's nothing really to add to that. He bores me.
Okay.
So there's nothing for me in this. That's fine. If it works for other people, I don't begrudge him it, and I'll try not to ruin it for him. But it has nothing for me.
I'm of the camp that Adam .08 Page is going to be a part of the Dark Order at some point, and I think this is the slow burn in order to get it there. And
the drunken one,
yes, the drunken one .08 will be his name for sure, or his number. But I think the redeeming thing about this whole thing, if you guys are not watching Being the Elite, you need to do yourself a favor, catch up, watch Being the Elite, because they all shit on Five. And Five is the one who's actually the one who cares. And I think Five's going to be the one who gets Adam Page. And I think this was a stepping stone, because I think Adam's going to shit on Hardy. They're going to do a little squabble thing. And then, the Private Party's going to turn on Hardy too, because, whatever. But I feel like this is going to be the time for the Dark Order to come in there and make the save. That's my guess about this whole thing. I really want to know what that contract said, just because I think it's slapstick fun, and that's the way I'm looking at it. I'm not looking at it for anything else.
And all this, this whole thing is about Page. It's not about Hardy at all. Hardy is a tool in the execution of this story arc. I agree with Jamie almost 100% on this. I think that this is all about that slow burn back into the Dark Order. I think they're going to accelerate it. I think that maybe as early as Revolution, probably not. Probably next Double or Nothing, because maybe hopefully before then, but they'll get to the point where he'll actually join the Dark Order and lead the Dark Order. We said this after Brody Lee, John Huber, God rest his soul, passed away. It's like, what are they going to do for direction wise? Because if you notice, they become face out of all of a sudden. The Dark Order is now a face organization instead of being a heel organization. So. But they still don't really have a leader. Johnny Hungy is not the leader for me. They pegged Uno up as the leader originally, and then they brought him back down so far. I don't think he can be the leader of them again. Mm-hmm. And him and Stu Grayson serve well as like first, lieutenants anyway. So there's that. Colt Cabana is more slapstick than anything else anymore. 10 is definitely a Preston Vance. 10, he's definitely an enforcer, and 5 is the butt of their jokes. Who's their leader? Don't tell me it's -1. As much as I love the kid, he's 10 years old.
Yeah,
he's got school to do, so he can't be the leader of a professional wrestling organization on the reg. So they got to have somebody else. They got to bring somebody in to be the leader, or they keep them at this constant state of just whateverness. I think Page is that guy. I think he's gonna. There's going to be a moment where the switch will get flipped and he'll go into full leadership mode. I can't wait for that.
So there's a name out there that is not signed with anybody that might be an interesting subject for this, and this is just 100% suspect because her 90-day no-compete clause expired this week.
Are you talking about Thea Trinidad?
Thea Trinidad. She's good on the mic.
She would be a very interesting. I would like that. I would like that. Well, let's put a rabbit ear in that and come back to that because that might be something. Thank you for bringing that up. Her actually expired. We recorded this on the night before, so it's Thursday right now. Mm-hmm. So her contract actually expired today.
Yep, she's officially a free agent.
And like most free agents, there's not any like rumors or anything going on because nobody wants to tip their hand until the WWE 90 no competes out of the way. So there's no like.
She absolutely fits. Like I could absolutely, without question, I don't even need to consider it. She would be perfect there.
I mean,
I'm kind of upset now because my hopes are up and I just know I'm going to be disappointed.
Sorry.
Well, yeah. I'm kind of mad I didn't think about it. Jamie, kudos to you. That's an astounding observation there because let's see what happens, okay? So let's keep moving here. I don't want to drag this on too long, but let's see what happens. So after that, we go to Tony Schiavone interviews Sting again. Sting says a word and gets interrupted by Taz again. I'll be so glad this is over. I don't give a shit. Either have Sting do absolutely nothing and be that figure in the rafters, or have him do something. Don't sit here and play with my balls if you're not going to go all the way. That was too far. Okay, I'm sorry.
But was it though?
You know what I mean.
I feel like it was right. Like you gotta cup the balls.
It's the correct analogy because what is this?
What is love?
Don't hurt me, and they're hurting me. Some more. Yeah. Okay. So it did end with a good spot. So Taz is out there. They're in an SUV, and and it shows his son Hook, which I don't know if he's ready to wrestle or not. He just whatever. He looks like he's like 16. I don't get that.
Yeah, he's training in the Nightmare Factory.
I know that, but I don't know. So it's like I would like to see him actually be in a match. Maybe just like a 6-man tag or something where you just see him a little bit. Just to get an idea because Taz's son, I'm excited to see what he can do. Mm-hmm. If you got that DNA, you better be suplexing some motherfuckers. So
if you don't, just get on out. Don't ever show your face.
Here's the door. It did end with a good spot. So they showed and they go back from the SUV a little bit, and there's Ricky Starks and Brian Cage, and they have a body bag with Darby in it. And they finish zipping it up with Darby inside, and then they go up and hop in the back of the truck, and then they drive the truck away with Darby still attached, dragging him along, making it officially the second worst thing that Brian Cage and Ricky Starks did to Darby Allin and a body bag. The first being, if you don't remember, they had that battle royal a while back when Brian made his announcement or whatever. They filled a body bag full of tacks, put him in there, and then threw him head first onto the entrance ramp. So
yeah, I remember that. That was
it was
glorious.
It was glorious. It was almost criminal, but so anyway, it was entertaining, the spot at the end. But once again, Sting should have got off the pot. What are we doing here? So, Marvez cuts to interviewing Kenny Omega at the golf course, just furthering it along. It was good. It was cool. I'm not going to dwell on it because we end the night with we followed up with the two best matches of the night. So the first one is the Layla Hirsch Thunder Rosa. So this is the first match of the first round of the U.S. side of the AEW Women's #1 Contender Tournament. I think I got all those words right.
It's something like that. Eliminator tournament, maybe Eliminator.
It's a lot. Yep. Now, Jamie was looking forward to this match for a while. Like he said, he believed that this could definitely be the sleeper of it all. Layla Hirsch is underrated. She always will be, too, because of her size.
Yeah, she's 4'10".
She's tiny height-wise. She's got legs like a freaking linebacker. She's got wrestling, like amateur wrestling skills more than probably anybody else behind that curtain.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great match. It was a very good match. The two of them worked well. Thunder Rosa, I'm in agreement now that Thunder Rosa definitely can work with anybody. I know, Nick, you said that before. You think that she can work a match with anybody on the planet, and you're absolutely right.
Love Thunder Rosa.
So, it was a good match, good back and forth. Thunder Rosa ended up advancing. There was a Thunderstruck chant at the beginning, which I'm glad that's sticking around. Mm-hmm. That makes me so happy. I can't wait once again until we get a full arena and we're just thunder.
Thunder Rosa is my pick to make it to the finals on the American side.
I almost went for her. I think they're going to make it to the semifinals or the American finals, but I actually picked Tay Conti, and we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about the women's tournament specifically in just a few minutes here. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk about our picks a little bit more in depth then, as well as do a quick little preview of everything. So after the women's match, they talked about the AEW Women's Eliminator World Cup #1 Contender Women's Championship Tournament #1. Elimination turn. It's too long of a name. But they talked about it. They talked about it more. They showed the whole bracket, which they revealed earlier in the day, actually, on their YouTube channel. But they showed off the whole bracket, and then they also said that this coming Monday on AEW's YouTube channel, they're showing all the first round Japanese matches. 4 matches, 7 Eastern, 6 Central. On AEW's YouTube channel, which was a welcome surprise. So we'll talk about those when we get. We're going to talk about the tournament here in just a few moments separately. But they went through that whole shtick. They had a Jungle Boy promo where he addressed FTR. We talked about this when we were talking about MJF and Sammy, and like I said, Jungle Boy. He's got the talent. He's got the skills. He is going to be one of those big stars. It was a good promo. He's calling them out, and I did write down a quote that he had here because of the promo. It's pretty standard, FU promo that you give to the other guy, right? But it did have a good line because you don't really expect this. But Jungle Boy says, "Dax, I'm gonna make you my bitch." Coming from Jungle Boy's mouth, I was just like, "Wow." Nice. I like that. I like that Jungle Boy because he rarely says anything, even when they're together in Jurassic Express.
He needs a little bit more Dylan in him, like his dad, Dylan from
absolutely, yes, absolutely does. So then they also announced next week's card. Next week's card is FTR versus the Sydal brothers, Matt and Mike Sydal. We are expressing it as such because Mike Sydal is another Journey Pro alum. He was the I don't remember what he was. He was a part of the Enlightenment. Which was a yoga based tag team, which worked a lot better than it might sound. It was actually pretty cool. He has got what can best be described as not a 6-pack, not an 8-pack. He's got like 85 abs. The man is ripped. I didn't know. Is he actually the brother of Matt Sydal?
I think so. I mean, they look similar. Oh,
I
no.
mean, I don't know if this is a work or what, but you know, he's Mike Seidel, so that's what they're going by. He's a great talent. He always had good skill. We thought that for a while. He was one of the ones we saw at Journey Pro, which, mind you, when we were seeing it before COVID happened, they were doing this place. It was an entertainment venue. Basically, it was a giant bar with like a massive, like, you know, like dance area that's converted over to be a wrestling arena. So, in essence, it was bar wrestling. So we always felt that he was much better suited for bigger stages than our humble little local indie attraction. But he's getting a shot, so that'd be cool. So they're going to face off against FTR. And then you have a 8-man tag, Paige with Big Money Matt Hardy and Private Party. It'll be interesting to see because this Saturday is the Impact pay-per-view where Private Party is in now a 3-way for the Impact titles. So we'll see what happens with that. Those 4 facing off against the Hybrid 2 and Chaos Project. Sting is going to call out Team Taz. We're just going to keep dragging this horse through the mud. Then you got the next U.S. Next match in the U.S. side of the Women's Eliminator Tag Team Cup, number 1 contender for Women's Title Championship Tournament, Serena Deeb versus Riho. And then main event, which was announced earlier on in the night during the promo the Young Bucks had, where they said, screw waiting to defend these titles. We want to defend them against Santana or Ortiz. And we're going to do it next week. So that is your main event for next week. That's going to be a showstopper for sure. Mm-hmm. And our showstopper to end the show, quite literally, see what I did there, is Kenny Omega, Kenta versus Moxley, Lance Archer. Falls count anywhere, no disqualification match. Holy shit, was this good. So
5-star.
Definite 5-star. The one with the one caveat, I'll put it 4 3/4 because they had a very obvious cut in it. So they, in the middle of the match, they went and did a recap and not a, we're going to show you on the little picture on the screen what's going on with the recap in the other picture, a complete recap. And when they came back, here's Kenta with his entire arm wrapped up, and it wasn't before. So it was blatantly obvious that it was pre-recorded, you know, and there was a time jump of sorts. So that's the only reason I docked it a little bit, was the production lack there. There was some botch that happened. But we don't want to know. The match itself that we saw was fantastic. Of course, we got the return of the individual announcements, so I got my North Carolina tip during Kenny Omega's wonderful ring announcement. I love that. I didn't understand what the hell it was until I had to Google it and looked it up, but I love it now. I can't live without it to do the North Carolina thing. Start off with a bang right away. So bell rings and immediately Kenta just beats the shit out of Archer with a briefcase. He's got a briefcase, for those of you who are not familiar. That's basically like a Money in the Bank style briefcase, you know, for the IWGP US title. Back and forth, big spots, take it out of the ring. It was funny because at one point, and the whole time, remember, Don Callis is on the mic, just so you're aware. And they're talking as they're kind of doing the initial sort of back and forth, you know, beating each other up a little bit before they go to the backstage area, which is where things took a drastic turn to the awesome. They were talking about, Don Callis was, about why Jake the Snake Roberts was down there, what the hell that was. He's going to get involved in the match. And Tony Schiavone goes, well, we just can't put Jake on a live mic. And that got in my craw. I love that. Spots back and forth. There's a trash can spots. There were ladder spots. You know, all this different things going on. There's a go to sleep that they mentioned over to the heel side of the around the ring. Kenta ended up doing a go to sleep on Peter Avalon, who was on his heart shaped bed there. He just picks him up and does a go to sleep to him, which is great. And then who was it? Archer chokeslams Kenta through Peter Avalon's heart-shaped bed, and they go back into the back, and they end up in the kitchen, and there was a box of potatoes that got brought into play. The potatoes were the star of the show. I don't know how that's even possible. It sure as shit was. Come back out after this whole, like I said, time jump cutscene happened, and then Kenny Omega's positioning Moxley on the announcer's table, and then somehow gets distracted, gets pulled away, whatever it is. And up above, Archer's looking to like powerbomb Kenta into the the actual announcers table, not just the ringside table or the timekeepers table, I meant to say down below. And Kenta gets away from that, and then jumps off the top of the stage onto the timekeepers table, does a double foot stomp on Moxley. There's a video that Austin Gunn, Billy Gunn's kid, because he shoots video during the entire show on his iPhone, and he put a video up of seeing that like from 3 feet away. Go look it up on YouTube. It's unbelievable. Eventually, gets it back in the ring. Here come the Good Brothers. They interfere. Ends up with a one-winged angel on Lance Archer. There's your win. So the ending was kind of abrupt. Didn't involve Moxley at all. He was basically out of it after he got foot stomped over there, and that was it. So it was a good way. It was a great match. It was a good introduction for Kenta to AEW fans. And overall, the show, like I said, was really good. There was a lot that happened in the 2 hours. They did a lot of segments. Maybe a bit too much, if I'm being honest. Maybe they overcorrected from their never having a promo ways. But overall, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree. I think the last match, Kenta doing the coup de grace, like double foot stomp, and the table not breaking, I thought that was great. And his knee just went straight into Moxley's face from it was great. But for me personally, the highlight of the night had to be Sammy Guevara saying he quit. And then I forgot to mention this, and Megan would kill me if I forgot to mention this. Walk through the face tunnel. He walked through the face tunnel.
That's right.
I didn't pick up on that. It's a good point.
I didn't either till just now. Wow.
Because being the Elite is always talked, like, if you watch it, like, you know, the heels come out from the left side.
And the face come out on the right. Sure.
Yeah. So he straight walked out, like he stopped, like he's gonna go towards the left, and then hooked and went right towards the right. And then if you look online and Twitter, and she's on effing TikTok, but you know they're talking about like they don't care about what happened other than he went down the fucking face tunnel. And it's just like that was a huge moment. But
it's the long tease Sammy Guevara face turn.
Yes. Good job, Megan. Good job. Good eye.
Megan gets the extra points this week.
Like I said, her markdom knows no bounds.
Yeah, so I didn't care for this match much at all, fellas. I'm gonna ruin it for you. Actually, I won't ruin it for you. You'll just think I'm stupid. But
we already do.
Yeah, I'm just gonna add to that. Kenny Omega is the best. There's a few guys that I think deserve to be in the ring with him, but he is head and shoulders above everybody, in my personal opinion. Across
even
the
John
board.
Cena?
Yes, even John Cena and Roman Reigns, easily.
Those are Nick's two favorite wrestlers. That's why I made
we need to put our pictures up on Twitter.
Did you really? That's fantastic.
No, we need to. We're going to now.
You have to. You have to.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna hate me for this. I'm out on Kenta already. Out.
You've seen one match of him.
That's all I needed.
Did you ever see him in New Japan? You don't watch New Japan at all, do you?
No. This was.
So you've seen one match of his and you're done.
Okay. Yes, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you why.
Please why?
Because I'm a dick.
Nick the Dick rears his ugly head again.
And because he did nothing. All he did was jump into people or jump onto people. And he's too small to hit his finisher, where he does the
go to sleep.
Yeah, does not work with Moxley. He's tried it twice. They completely botched it the first time, and the second time it just looks dumb because Moxley has to bend over in order to even try to sell it. It looks dumb. He looks out of place, and he comes out there with his Laura Dern Last Jedi hair. I can't do it. I'm out on him. Was not impressed.
Happy belated birthday to Laura Dern. It was her birthday earlier this week, so
I am actually a fan of hers.
We're getting pop culture references left and right. Okay, yeah. Interesting. Interestingly enough.
Yeah.
I politely disagree with you.
No,
but that's
cool.
okay.
I expected you would.
I think Kenta is a great worker. I appreciate your Vince McMahon in the box view of him. Hence why he's not WWE anymore. But I think once you get to see him in a singles match, I think that's where he really shines. He's not like Tamatonga and Tongaleoa. Those two work incredibly well together as a tag team. He's more of an individual guy. He's small, yes, but he's quick as a hiccup. And yeah, the United States is the land of giants, man. Like Moxley is not a small guy.
No,
I mean, his go to sleep on Avalon was stellar.
I will say this because I want to kind of refine what I said about his size, because some of the best wrestlers are smaller in stature. So I don't want to pick on him for that. I just think that his size doesn't help him in the ring with guys like Moxley. That's all.
With the top guys, that's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, it's a fair assessment. But he's a top guy in Japan, and if you watch Japan wrestling, like, you gotta do yourself a favor, watch like 3 of his New Japan matches, and if you have the same opinion, then go fuck yourself. But if you don't, which you shouldn't, just let us know. Report on it next Wednesday.
Well, I don't think we've seen the last of Kenta. I think, he's at least going to be around until the 26th, that whole thing happens. But I think it's very likely we might see him, periodically after that. So we probably going to see him again. So I can appreciate your opinion.
I had my hopes up. I saw the Bullet Club tee, and I'm like, oh, snap. And then I was like, nah, dude, you can't just run and throw your body into people and impress me. Come on.
Right. Oh, that was AEW. So we got lots more to talk about. We're actually going to talk for just a little bit. Jamie's going to lead us through. We're going to do a real quick kind of heads up and, investigative style deep dive. No, not that deep. We're going to talk about the tournament just in a little bit, real quick fashion, couple minutes here. Jamie, why don't you go ahead and get us started on that?
Yeah, so as we all know, they officially announced the brackets for the Women's World Championship Eliminator Tournament. Crushed it.
There you go.
So, as I said before, we know all the American side. We know all of them, but we don't know the Japanese side. And we're going to spend a little time talking about that. But before we do, let's just do a quick brief rundown of the American side so everybody knows who's facing who. And then we are going to talk about the Japanese wrestlers, just because you probably have no clue who the hell they are, just as much as we did. We did a little bit of research on them and found out a lot of interesting things. So let's start with the American side. We already know about the first match. That was Layla Hirsch and Thunder Rosa, with Thunder Rosa winning. Then Serena Deeb and Riho are going to be going at it this Wednesday. So, and those, if Serena Deeb or Riho wins, they'll face Thunder Rosa. That's going to be very intriguing, and we need to break that one down.
Either way, it would be nice.
I would love to see Riho there, just to be personally honest, because we've already seen Serena Deeb, because I really want to see Riho and Thunder Rosa go at it, because Riho might be 96 pounds soaking wet. Homegirl can go, and she's just impressive as hell for a small she is.
They fought together. They fought each other in Japan, Thunder Rosa and Riho.
I know, but I want to see it on
okay,
American
all right,
soil.
you want to see it.
You know what I love about Riho is when Jamie says Riho, because all I hear is a boom, boom, boom. Let me hear you say Riho, Riho. I love it.
So on the bottom half of the American bracket, we have Tay Conti versus the native beast, Nyla Rose, who is pitching right now in order to take over Gina Carano in Star Wars, as the
I'm sorry, Nyla. Nyla, you're no Lucy Lawless. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Again, for all of you who don't know who Nyla Rose is, she is the only transgender wrestler in a larger promotion on the United States soil. I'm going to say that. Then in the last one, we have Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus, of course, one of our favorites, number 99 herself, Anna Jay.
Love Anna Jay.
So let's before we get into the Japanese wrestlers, who do you think is coming out of the women's side on the American side? Sorry.
On the U.S. side, my picks are, we're going March Madness bracket style. I got in the finals of the American side, I have Thunder Rosa. I think she's going to get by whoever she faces next week, or 2 weeks, whenever the hell it is. They're not being totally clear about when these matches are happening. I just want to be completely honest and upfront about that. We know about one happening each week, and we've been told about the first round of the Japanese side, but we don't know when all these other matches are happening. Is it going to be drawn over the next 3 months? Is it going to happen on Dark? Who knows? But I think Thunder Rosa on the top. And then I actually pick it. It's a little bit of an upsetty thing, but I'm going with Tay Conti. She's been getting a great push lately. She had that match against Serena Deeb for the title on Dynamite. She's been having a real strong run on Dark. AEW's been hyping her up. Been hyping her up a lot on social media. My opinion, I think Tay Conti is going to get a push through. I'm picking Tay Conti to come out of the American side. A little bit of an upset, I know, but I just got a feeling.
Like she's the winner. She's going up against the Japanese winner.
She's going up against the Japanese side. I think it's going to come down to Tay Conti.
Shit, that's a great take.
Tay Conti and Thunder Rosa, and I think that, and I have ideas how that will happen, but that's. I don't want to speculate. I think Britt Baker is going to cause Thunder Rosa to lose against Conti, but I think that eventually, that's just my pick. I'm just picking Tay Conti is who I'm going with.
Okay. Nick?
Tay Conti and Thunder Rosa are my two personal favorites. I've got Nyla Rose winning the whole thing.
That's a strong. That's never a bad pick. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I agree, and I agree that's a solid pick. I just don't want to agree. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
Because it makes too much damn sense. But if there's one thing that AEW has proven time and time again, don't ever expect, who's going to win.
Yeah.
It's one of their best features.
We like when they first started that tag team tournament for the tag team titles.
Private Party beating the Young Bucks out of nowhere. First match.
No one expected that. Yeah, like holy shit. Like that was it. So for me, storytelling wise, it would make sense to have Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa at the end, but I think that's not the place for it. So I'm kind of with you, JJ. I think it's actually going to end up being Anna Jay and Tay Conti facing off against each other in the quarters. And I see Anna Jay taking on Thunder Rosa. I think that's what's going to happen there.
I can see that, yep.
And then Thunder Rosa will lose, and Anna Jay will be going for it.
Oh, so you're going Anna Jay now?
I'm changing. I'm going Anna Jay.
Because you were all in on Thunder Rosa.
It just makes too much sense for her not to, because the storytelling between her and Britt Baker, like if I really think if one of them can't have it, the other one can't. You know what I mean?
That's why I hinted that. I think in that semifinal round, I think Britt Baker, whether it's Anna Jay, Tay Conti, Nyla Rose, whatever, I don't care who it is. I think she's going to get involved. Is my way too early guess. So,
yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, that's U.S. side.
All right, so the Japanese side, we have, and I'm going to butcher these names, so I apologize in advance. Yuka Sakazaki against Mei Suruga, and then we have Veni versus Emi Sakura, and then Maki Ito versus Ryo Mizunami, Asia Kong versus Rin Katakura. I think I did.
Round of applause.
Well done,
I think you did
Jamie.
wonderful.
Well done.
I think I did okay there. So
You actually looked up how to pronounce them. I'm going to butcher the crap out of them.
yeah. So the first two are Yuka Sakazaki versus Mei Segura. Now, JJ, you did some investigation on
so
Yuka.
Yuka Sakazaki, you already know if you watch AEW. So she has been here before. She was actually, I don't want to say a mainstay, but she was on the roster like actively, and she got several matches in. She looked like she's the one that wearing like parachute pants and kind of like the modern day kind of gypsy looking garb on her. So she is wrestled in several promotions in Japan. Most most recently before coming over to AEW was in Tokyo Yoshi. She actually had a good feud set up with Maki Ito. So the two of them have history. Now, the only time that they'll meet is going to be in the finals. But Yuka Sakazaki also has the claim to fame of having her face caved in, basically, by Britt Baker. If you remember that match where Britt Baker was, when she was like super heel, I think it was like right before the pandemic happened and everything, or maybe it was like right after it. I don't remember, but it was right around that time when it was getting close to that. And she had put her mouth on the bottom rope and then came around and kicked her and got botched somehow and broke like 6 of her teeth or something stupid like that. She was just gushing blood from the mouth. That was Yuka Sakazaki. So she's familiar to us in AEW. It's good to see her again, though. She's got a very good mixed between high flyer and ground game, very good technical set.
Yeah. So I looked up Mai Saruga. Mai Saruga is only 21 years old. She is really young in her career. She's only been doing this for 2.5 years. Right now, she's with Gato Move Pro Wrestling. And just do yourself a favor, look up one of her matches on YouTube, because their little intro song is like, this is going to sound so terrible, but the most Japanese sounding thing like ever, like super popular, like J-pop. It sounds so J-pop. It's great. She's not been doing this very long, but man, she had some matches. She has faced Jazz, the legend herself, and she, within her first 6 months of being a professional wrestler, faced none other than Hikaru Shida.
Oh, there you go.
But my favorite fun fact about her trainer is Emi Sakura, who is also in the tournament. So that gets us right to the next one, and I actually happen to have both of these folks, Veni and Emi Sakura. So I'm going to talk about Emi Sakura before I talk about Veni. Emi Sakura...
You better not waste that segue, goddammit.
Yeah. Emi Sakura is... She's OG. She's got tons of championships and tons of all this amazing things, but above all, she is an amazing trainer, because a lot of the top dogs out of Japanese wrestling have been trained by her. Hikaru Shida has been trained by her. Mai Segura has been trained by her. She's got quite a few. Dorami Nagano, I don't know if you guys know who that is. Like, she has got so many big names attached with her. They even Riho, the Riho. So she is a next level trainer. Like, everybody goes to see her. She is probably more in the twilight of her career. She was been in AEW. She came out, did the whole Freddie Mercury bit, thing where she had the mustache and whatnot. It was a little weird, but you know what? She's a good wrestler. So that is Emi Sakura for all you guys. So Veni was a difficult one to find anything on. It took me a minute, but I found Veni. Veni also goes by Asuka, which I thought was kind of interesting, and not necessarily affiliated with any major outfit out there, wrestling organization. She does a lot of the independent scene, but here's the big fun fact about her. She is the first, and from what I understand, the only transgender Japanese wrestler that we know of. So again, AEW bringing it home. We have 2 transgender women in this tournament, and I applaud them for that. I think that is a great thing that, that's
almost an unbelievable statement. I think it's fantastic too.
Yeah, it's like, I don't think WWE would ever do that. I mean, they might nowadays. When Vince dies, baby.
They might have a token, which is almost more just disrespectful to them.
Yeah, and that's the great thing. Like, they don't care. Like, AEW, if you could wrestle, they don't care. They just like, be you, be whatever, and it's great. So that is the top half of that bracket. Now we got the bottom half of Maki Ito and Ryu Mizunami. And JJ, you had our favorite, I'm just gonna call it that now, in Maki Ito.
Oh yeah, well I jumped on this from I got ahead of time here because when they first made the announcement, all the people, I was like, let me look up some of these women and see if I recognize a couple of them. They went through real fast, so I just started googling the different names of the different women, and then Maki Ito, because I was kind of like half watching it when they first announced it at the side of my eye, and I thought for a second it was Kairi Sane. So that's why I was like, who's that last one they announced? Maki Ito. Is that Kairi Sane? Let me look up and I looked it up and like Maki Ito. Okay, no. So I started investigating her and oh my God, I found my spirit animal. So Maki Ito has not been doing this a very long time. I would say like, if I remember right, it's about 5-6 years, give or take, that she's been doing it. She actually came up through after high school and all that stuff. She got into the idols scene. Now, it's a very Japanese cultural thing. For those of you who are not familiar with a lot of Japanese wrestling, and maybe don't know why we focus a lot on different things, is that in Japan, professional wrestling is not necessarily like it is here in America. It's not just a shtick that some people are into, thing. It is very much a larger cultural like segment of Japanese entertainment. So it penetrates deep into a lot of different things. This whole idol thing is basically young girls that want to be pop stars. So it's like a mixture of pop, wrestling, interpromotional thing. There's TV shows, they're on game shows and appearances and all this stuff. A lot of stuff I couldn't follow, I'm not going to lie. I don't speak Japanese, so they're going through some of these things that I was doing to look up on about her, and I didn't understand anything going on. But I'm familiar with what it is. So she didn't do well as an idol. She failed, basically, as an idol. In that failure, though, she more or less stumbled into being an in-ring performer, which turned into her becoming kind of the petulant punk that she has become. Now, not punk like Ruby Riott, Ruby, is very much a kind of a petulant child sort of thing. So she had this feud going on with a few others. Yuko Sakazaki was part of that, and it's where she still thinks in her head, this is the character, she still thinks in her head that she's an idol and wants everybody to like her and support her and vote for her, even though she's not. And she wants friends, but she doesn't want to be friends with everybody, so she flips everybody off. She's a very intriguing wrestler. She's not the smallest, but she's smaller in stature. She has a very unique wrestling style. She kind of goes off this shtick of like the old, I can't think of a better name, but the Chris Benoit Iron Head version. She does like different variations of headbutts. So she's very much a wild card. Her social media is fantastic. We've already talked about it. Please follow her on Twitter. It's great. So that's one half of this bottom match. She's going up against a more seasoned competitor, Ryu. God damn it. Ryu Mizunami. All right.
Crushed it.
So Ryu Mizunami's been doing this quite a bit longer. She's been in the game for 13-14 years. She's in her 30s, low 30s. She's a little bit of a bigger wrestler as it terms to Japanese women. Most Japanese female wrestlers are usually around 5 foot, okay, which we in America consider to be short. You think of Alexa Bliss, Riho, Kitty Canzano, Kaden Carter. Those are they're the small wrestlers. That's about average over in Japan. Riho is about 5'4", so she's a little bit of a bigger. She's not like a super heavyweight as far as women go, but she's a little bit of a bigger wrestler. She's got a little bit of a harder style too. So she has real hard lariat, good brain busters, leg drops, things of that nature. So it's more of a striking mentality rather than a more technical or aerial aspect. Not a lot of aerial in her game. So she's been around the wild. She's been she's been in several promotions in Japan. So she was part of a few different promotions. Most recent promotion that I could find was Pro Wrestling Wave, WAVE, and I'm not familiar with that promotion. I'm going to be honest with you. I was Googling so much stuff, I didn't bother looking into it itself. In part because Her last match that I could find was the third quarter of 2019. So I don't know if because of COVID and everything else, she hasn't wrestled for over a year or whatever, but it doesn't seem like she's really documented wise that I could find she's been out there. But she's a very good hard-hitting wrestler. She's got good mat skills from what I've seen her matches. She will be somewhat familiar if you've seen every single AEW match. At the first Double or Nothing, there was a six-woman tag match with all Japanese stars. She was one of the people in that match. So it should be an interesting match. It's definitely a clash of styles between Maki and Ryo, but that's a little bit about both of them.
Cool. So then that will take us to the final one of Asia Kong and Rin Kadokura. And Nick, you looked up Asia Kong, right? What'd you find out?
So Asia Kong has a career spanning 4 decades. So she's checking in age 50. Age 50 with a professional record of 73-35. And for those of you unfamiliar with Ms. Kong, you may know her from her roles in movies such as Borat, where she plays a hitchhiking prostitute, and Taken 2, where she teaches Liam Neeson's daughter how to drive. She also has a prolific career in stand-up comedy under the stage name Linnell. Now, Rin Kadokura's record is smaller in stature, as is she. I've only seen one of her matches, and she got kicked in the face right before being thrown across the ring by her hair. So science says she's going to lose, but the word backstage is that Asia Kong is taking a dive. So my money is on Rin Kadokura winning by pinfall, making for a second-round squash match against Maki Ito.
Ooh,
Okay.
I like that. So, all right. So now we got the field on the Japanese side, which Monday at 6 on AEW's YouTube, they are going to have all the first round matches, and I am jazzed. There's actually going to be some good wrestling on Monday night. Hasn't been that in like 20 years. Not that long, but you know what I'm saying. So, all right. So you think Maki Ito is going to make the finals on the Japanese side. Who do you think is going to be on the top side there, Nick? Going against her.
Nyla Rose.
No, on the top side of the Japanese.
On the top side of the
on
Japanese
the Japanese
bracket.
side? I don't know. Pick somebody for me.
Okay, so he's going all in on Maki.
I am.
I'm going the same way. I'm going Maki, and I'm going to go with Yuki Sakazaki. She's got a familiar face to AEW fans. I think that'll help with eyeballs. Also, for those who are in the know, like I made mention, she does have a history with Maki Ito, so that'd be a good story to tell for those that are trying to lure over from Japan. Anyway, that's my guess. I'm big on Maki. I think it's because I want her to win because I love her persona so much. I have nothing else to base this on, to be honest with you. I've seen some matches of all these women, but not a ton. Other than Asia, I've seen a good amount of Asia Kong wrestle.
Yeah.
Everybody has.
So I think I think the best story would be having Yuka Sakazaki and Maki Ito going for it. But there's something about having Veni, the transgender wrestler, making the finals against Maki Ito. I think that has... I like that story, and that's what I'm going to ride. I'm going to ride Veni versus Maki Ito with Maki Ito getting the win. So the final for me is going to be Anna Jay and Maki Ito.
Can see that.
Okay, and I'm going Tay Conti, Maki Ito.
And then you're going Nyla Rose versus Maki Ito and Nyla Rose.
No,
I've
I've changed my vote. I'm going Nyla Rose and Veni.
All transgender. That would be groundbreaking right there.
That's exactly why it's going to happen.
awesome.
That's exactly why it's going to happen.
Hey, that's very woke of you and them.
No, it's not woke of me. It's just perception. I know that AEW will be.
I could see him do that.
AEW will want to be the first one to ring that bell, and they are going to ring it.
Okay.
They've already had a transgender champion, so
that's my prediction.
Yeah, I think that's a hell of an idea, Nick.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm more interested to see like who actually from the Japanese side stays, whoever, because they're all currently in Japan wrestling.
Oh, right.
Physically. So they're gonna have to come over for the finals. I'm interested to see who stays. Like, is Yuka Sakazaki gonna come back? Is Maki Ito now? It feels like Maki Ito's transitioning to be an American star. That's what I'm interested really to see. I think that any one of them, I think it's gonna be a great tournament all around. I just want to see what the long-term ramifications are going to be of that.
So again, when this is happening Monday, we'll be live tweeting as it goes on. Follow us at Total Spotfest on Twitter and give us your thoughts. I'd really like to hear who you think is going to win this tournament. We would love to hear your input. I know me personally would love that. Nick, even when he gives a shit, he'll give a shit about that. And then of course JJ. Let's hear what you guys think. And if you have a great point, I mean, we'd love to use it as a discussion topic, because after Monday, I mean, a lot of shit's going to be, a lot of things are going to be happening after Monday. Are we even going to be right? Is Yuka Sakazaki, Veni, Maki Ito, and Rin Katakura going to be the winners of the first round? We don't know. So, it's a lot that we need to talk about.
We could be 100% wrong. We don't know.
Yeah, this is great. This is a great time to be a wrestling fan with this. So please hit us up and let us know what you think.
So once again, that's at Total Spotfest on Twitter, and we'll announce we'll have some stuff coming too. We're gonna get a YouTube channel out there as well, where you guys can start leave some comments and participate back to us. Right now, we got just the Twitter out there, so at Total Spotfest, that's how you get a hold of us.
All right, folks. Well, I think we've talked enough for you all. Thank you again for spending the time with us, going through AEW, NXT, and the women's tournament. Nick, do you have any last thoughts or?
Just love everybody. Love everybody. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here. Looking forward to Sunday.
JJ?
You better have good snacks. That's all.
Oh,
I'm saying.
dude, trust me, it's already happening. Don't even worry.
All right, well,
it's gonna be a full spread.
Oh, if there's a spread, and my disposition has changed. I do want to second that. Thank you guys for joining us. Those who give us the time, we do appreciate it. Please give us a shout, as I said, and we love you guys. See you next time.
Yep, and you know what I said last time. If you're not down with TSL, I got 2 words for you: lion tamer.
I think that's actually 1 word.
Lion space tamer.
All right, see you guys.
See you guys.